RT. Now let's get more on the situation in Syria from political activist Danny Mackey is joining us on the line from London. Danny, good evening to you. Thanks for being with us. I gather you've recently returned from Syria yourself. With the West pushing for democratic change all this while, but Syrians enduring so much horror there. Is this democratic change going to come anytime soon, do you think, from what you've seen with your eyes?
I mean, I think there is much consensus among the Syrian people and in Syria that there has to be democratic change, but there is a very big difference between democratic change from a grassroots level and what is being supported and funded by Western countries in Syria now. What we see now is terrorism, and people have to differentiate between a freedom fighter and a terrorist, because what happened today was, in fact, it was Jordanian, the suicide bomber who blew himself up today and killed up to 53 people and injured over 200. So this is an issue which faces Syrians on a daily basis, and it's not necessarily terrorism against the state, it's terrorism which strikes people and it kills civilians. I mean, this terrorist explosion today was outside a school, which killed lots of school children. It should receive condemnation from all countries and all powers, and we have to understand that this is a conflict, but there are individual cases which need commentators to speak of, individually speaking. The fact that this happened outside a school, in a residential area, should really gauge condemnation from lots of countries. However, I do not think that this is a path to democracy. I think, in fact, this is a pathway to a failed state, and the West want democracy in Syria, but this is certainly not the way to go about it.
And Danny, while you're on the line there, worries tonight, as we've been reporting, about maybe a new front opening up now. The Free Syrian Army's apparently given this 48-hour deadline, this ultimatum to Hezbollah to stop shelling it. Do you think that's going to kick off?
I really don't think that's going to kick off. I think the Free Syrian Army do lack the hegemony in Lebanon, and they lack the military capabilities to really enter an armed struggle with Hezbollah, who are essentially a state within a state and who are the strongest military power in Lebanon. I mean, this is the same Hezbollah who defeated Israel in 2006, so it's very unlikely that the militia, like the Free Syrian Army, will be able to challenge Hezbollah's dominance militarily.
There is a worry in Lebanon, though, maybe about creep over the border, isn't there? War creep, as they put it. It's itself divided over the civil war next door in Syria. Do you think there is the danger of the war spilling over into Lebanon?
Of course, especially with the Syrian crisis, there is a danger of it spilling across borders to Iraq or Lebanon or even Turkey. I think the biggest problem in Lebanon is that some of the Western countries are really trying to pit one of the Islamist movements against each other, the Sunni FSA against the Shia Hezbollah. It's essentially a policy of divide and conquer, which is being instigated media-wise by the West to create divisions and fractures within Arab, Syrian and Lebanese societies. And this is an issue which they're working on today. By pitting the FSA against Hezbollah, they create more division and tension between Syria and Lebanon. And we've seen with the recent conflict in Tripoli in northern Lebanon that the Syria crisis is not necessarily in Syria. Syria is the linchpin of the region, and there is great tension both in Syria and Lebanon, and there is great fear and anxiety that the struggle in Syria could spill into Lebanon. And we of course understand that Lebanon had their own civil war, which was very bloody and killed hundreds of thousands. So Lebanon is very scared at this moment of the Syria crisis turning into a Lebanese crisis.
Now, Monday, Syria said it's prepared to talk to the armed opposition groups, so it's long dismissed as terrorists. Is this a positive change on the way? Because previously, Assad said he wouldn't talk to these people.
I mean, for any state, terrorism inside of a country is a red line, which cannot be crossed. We cannot accept terrorism in any country in the world, whether it be Syria, America, or Britain, or Russia, or any other country. However, there has to be a level of negotiations and dialogue, internally speaking, to at least have a ceasefire or a level of a down kind of, and in terms of the violence on the ground. There has to be a level of openness between the Syrian government and between rebel forces, maybe to instigate exchanges of prisoners, ceasefires in certain areas, to allow humanitarian aid to reach areas which are under rebel control. These are all issues which have to be negotiated for, and it shows that the Syrian government is not taking the path of an intransigent government. They truly do want to seek diplomacy and dialogue to solve this, and the fact that they're willing to negotiate with these armed groups signifies a change of policy in terms of they comprehend that there can be no military solution, and that any solution which comes within the Syria crisis at this current moment in time, hitherto, has to be a political solution to stop the suffering of the people and to find a real exit, a negotiated settlement to this ongoing crisis.
Danny Mackey, we appreciate your informed thoughts tonight. Thanks for joining us on the line from London. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much. Thank you.